Hello everyone and welcome back guys to a brand new video where today we're here back with round 6 of season 2 of the F1 2021 Williams Road to Glory. Yes, it's been a little bit of a while since the last race in this series. Of course, we went through the finale of season 5 of the F1 My Team Career Mode. Now, of course, yesterday we did all the news and reveals for season 6. You know, pre-season testing in real life, pre-season testing in the My Team 212 career mode as well there. But today we're here back finally with the Williams Road to Glory. So far, season 2 has been a roller coaster, I think it's safe to say. Of course, a bit of an update for you guys. Spoilers, of course, will be included now. At the moment, we're up to 8th place overall in the vehicle performance chart. They're pretty much tied with Alpine and Aston Martin just behind us. So we are, you know, slipping away from Alfa Romeo and Haas at the rear of the field. Championship-wise, we are currently 7th overall in the Constructors, just ahead of Aston Martin as well there. We've scored 9 points. George Russell has 4 to his name as well. So far we've had a quite decent little run at the start of the year. Bottas leads the way, 11 points over Hamilton, who's a further 9 ahead of Max Verstappen. But I'm hoping, you know, we can continue this good run of form, build up more R&D points, try and get our car, you know, sort of better than Alpine and AlphaTauri over the next few weeks. And then obviously we can try and focus towards those big 4 teams at the front of the order. I'm still not feeling 100%, but fingers crossed, you know, F1 2021 content. You know, we've had a couple of weird weeks with all these sort of real-life livery reveals and everything like that. But my team and the Williams Road to Glory are coming back. I've got another series planned in the works as well. So yeah, make sure you get yourself subscribed if you aren't already. And massive thank you as well for 37,000 subscribers. Trying to hit 50k by the end of the year. If you could help us get one step closer, it would be greatly appreciated. But yeah, let's dive in then here to qualifying from Baku. Right, well here we are then, qualifying day back in Azerbaijan, Baku here. Looking forward to this one, although I must admit it's taken me quite a few laps in free practice to get used to the Williams again. You know, the 212 Motorsport car, safe to say it's a little bit better in every single way than this Williams. But fingers crossed we can try and get a lap hooked up in qualifying here today. First run actually on the sub-compound tyres this weekend. And yeah, just got to try and get it dialed in. If we can put a good banker lap in, that would be rather nice to see. Running a little bit high, actually, on the control electronics. That should make it through this weekend. But then we're definitely going to need to swap some parts out over the next couple of GPs. Reliability is still not great on this car. In towards the castle section for the first time then in qualifying. Tipping in third gear there. Of course, sim damage in this series means I've got to be super careful through there. Any small skim of the wall could be very costly. As Sebastian Vettel currently fastest there on a 139.2. We should theoretically be around that sort of time if I've got the lap hooked up. That's not going to help us though. Just slap the wall as we head down the hill there, and I think in similar fashion to, I want to say, Giovinazzi managed last year in real life. We may as well try and complete that lap though, I suppose, but we're going to probably need a blend of throttle through the final chicane. No, completely pinned still, that's alright, so we shouldn't have lost too much time then from that little bit of front wing damage there. Definitely a few tenths though left on the table. But what is this first lap going to be then as we head back up towards the start finish line? It's going to be a 139.3. So just behind Seb there, but that's alright. Right, so second run coming up then. We reckon, well, the team reckon we've got about another 4 tenths on the table to find. So if we can try and dip down into the 38s, that would be rather nice. This lap we're going to have to be a bit more aggressive though and try to still avoid the mistakes. And that's not how you avoid the mistakes at the start of a qualifying lap. Guess we may as well try and get another one in. Well done, Matt. That was... You can tell I'm not used to this car. It's been a while since I played F1 2021. Never mind the Williams Road to Glory. I feel like every time I come back to this series, I'm just having to readapt to the car. Right, and unfortunately I didn't even have enough fuel to try and do a second lap, even if I wanted to there. So it is now a last chance saloon here in qualifying for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. We're going to need a sweat mode lap to finish us off. Russell's on about 38.8, so we want to be aiming to be around our teammate. Really nice run out of turn 2 there. That's going to find us about a 10th. I'm trying to make sure I brake just earlier than I normally would on F1 2021. Amazing just how quickly you get used to a very, very fast car. But the pace is coming. I'll find a bit more time as the lap unfolds. You know, track's rubbered in as well, as that was very, very close to the wall. Oh, come on. There we go. That's the sort of gap we want to find. Just everything starting to click a bit more. He says as he wallops the curb there, and it ricochets the car towards the outside wall. Castle section. Oh, it never gets any easier, those few corners, and I'm adamant every time I go through the cars get wider. But still, half second up, sorry, I should say. As we head down in towards the back half of the lap, and we get this one hooked up, we might be able to find a few more tenths. A little bit cautious on the way in, but look at that, now a second up. As we head down the hill, one more proper corner to go, and of course we now know we can absolutely mash the throttle at the final turn. We've found huge amounts of time as we head through the final chicane. Now look at that, 1.4 up, it's going to be a high 37. Where is this going to place us on the grid for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix? We found loads of pace there, the car's really come alive, and this might be a top 10. Where is it going to be? It's P10! Get in there! Happy with that?
We're all ready for tomorrow's race, but before we begin, let's have a quick look at those who will be fronting the grid. Verstappen, Hamilton and Sergio Perez. Goodbye for now then, but we're really just getting started. Make sure to join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
Well, there we go then. Max Verstappen on the pole ahead of Lewis Hamilton and Sergio Perez there, with Leclerc and Sainz making Lando the meat in a Ferrari sandwich. Gasly in 7th ahead of Bottas, Ricciardo and myself. And yeah, P10 on the grid for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix there. 9 tenths clear of our teammate George Russell. The AI don't tend to be very strong on one lap pace here in Baku, but I'm sure, yeah, George will be asking himself a lot of questions at the end of that session. But yeah, now feeling good, feeling ready for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. We will have a slightly worn set of tyres though for the start of this one. Let's get into it. We are now just 1 month away from the new F1 season, of course, with all the new liveries revealing, means that we've got all new merch drops. The 2022 McLaren replica launch has now gone live, as well as the 2022 Ferrari collection, and of course, yeah, the Puma drop as well, featuring brands from Mercedes, Red Bull and Ferrari. Of course, there are options available for every single team still. Click the link down below and yeah, buy yourself some merch for 2022.
A warm welcome to all of you watching at home to today's Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and a race that in its short history has already proven no stranger to drama. A 4th row start is just about as likely to give you a podium as a pole position would. And remember, in 2017 and 2018, both Lance Stroll and then Sergio Perez took surprise podiums here. Baku's city circuit then, an unpredictable 3.7-mile track around the streets of the Azerbaijan capital. 20 turns for our drivers to navigate today, including the infamous Turn 8, one of the tightest and most challenging corners of the season. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Young superstar Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Perez, Leclerc, Lando Norris and Sainz, Gasly, Bottas, Ricciardo and Mr. Monaco, Ocon, Raikkonen, Yuki Tsunoda and Stroll, Vettel, Russell, Antonio Giovinazzi and Nikita Mazepin, Mick Schumacher and Nicholas Latifi. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Right, well here we are then, on the grid, ready for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Fingers crossed today we can just keep it clean and tidy there. And maybe, just maybe, you know, last season, this was a track we narrowly missed out on points on right in the dying stages of the GP. So fingers crossed we can rewrite the wrongs of last year here. But if anything's likely to happen at Baku, it's to predict the unpredictable, I think is the way we're going to word it. Do not want to use the hard tyres today. They do not work around this track. So lap 7, we'll go lap 6 actually, lap 16 and then obviously try and get to the end of the GP. So 6 laps on the softs and then 10-10 on each set of medium tyres here. Fingers crossed we can just get through lap 1 though. That is going to be the key here today. But ready on the grid here for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. We've completed a challenge apparently. 5 red lights, and it is going to be lights out, and away we go. Actually, one of my better starts there as Kimi Räikkönen sends it down towards turn 1. We're going to be very, very risky there down the middle of Kimi, and I think it was Esteban Ocon there as Kimi still trying to make a move work. We had a look around the outside of Ricciardo, but that gap was always going to disappear. So Kimi Räikkönen then starting on the mediums. He could be one to watch during this Grand Prix there on the alternate strategy, but are we going to be able to move back past the Finn? Big send coming up the inside there. Esteban Ocon style on Kimi in real life, and we will re-inherit P10 then of the Grand Prix. The key today though, to avoid the control electronics damage, is just try and stay off the curbs as best as possible. Luckily most of them around here are flat curbs, so you won't pick up much damage off them, and to be honest, the ones a lot of people do like to attack, I tend to avoid. This is the one I'm worried about, just going through there, and then of course the castle section as well. Any controversy on lap 1? Ricciardo got very, very close to that outside wall there. It seems like pretty much everyone is navigating through this first lap a-okay. Tsunoda now up into 11th there, so he's also moved past Kimi, so I think he was the car that we sent it on in towards turn 1. So just that little lock-up towards the apex there, you worry the front end is going to wash out there, but we have survived the opening lap then of this Azerbaijan Grand Prix then. No places gained, no places lost, but there's a lot of much quicker cars in front of us, and a lot of cars that aren't slouches behind. Let's just see if we can try and keep within the range of Daniel Ricciardo early on here, as it looks like the top 4, the top 5 even, remained unchanged there. A couple of people into the pits. That's Pierre Gasly in 2, so not too sure what's happened to him, but a tough start to the GP for the AlphaTauri man, so we will end up P9. Well, coming towards the end then of lap 3, looks like Ricciardo, Bottas, and I think it's Carlos Sainz just pulling away from me ever so slightly early on here. We're trying to keep Tsunoda at bay, but I'm a little bit worried a lot of these guys are probably going to be doing one-stops here as there's battles going on in front. Tsunoda's now going to look around the outside.
You'll be on the mediums.
We'll try and keep the nose there and actually hang Tsunoda out to dry again for the second time in this Grand Prix. Yeah, just trying to be a bit careful early on though. As you can already see, yeah, rear's starting to struggle just a little bit. You can't lean on this car in the same way you could with the My Team challenges. There is Russell really struggling early on. I wonder if he's picked up a tiny bit of front wing damage as he's down battling with, I think, yeah, the Alfa Romeos, which is not what we'd want at this stage of the campaign. We always do well around the high-speed circuits in this Williams.
Be aware, we expect the grip levels to start falling away soon. Our gap to the car in front is 2.1 seconds.
I think the grip levels are already falling away, to be honest with you, Jeff, but yeah, we just got to try and keep it going. Play the long game. It's always the key with this Williams. You have to play the long game. Races sometimes will come to you, races other times will completely fall away from you, but you have to play the long game. Here comes Tsunoda again. Can't really do anything this time round though. We can't afford to keep draining the battery. So Yuki will have the place, and I'm, yeah, just a sitting duck at the moment. Ooh. Don't often hit the inside wall.
You can win that place back.
Jeff's right, though. We can win the place back. Luckily, it was just tyre phase to walls, so we won't have got any damage. But yeah, rear tyres starting just to struggle a little bit. We need to try and get back past Tsunoda, though. Do not want to be stuck in the dirty air of the Alpine, as he is going to go defensive. Can we hook it up around the outside? Just about. That was a risky move to make early on. But looks like now, Sainz and Bottas still disputing P6. Ooh, so yeah, fingers crossed we can get back within DRS range. Oh, Ricciardo into the pits at the end of lap 5, so he's very, very early into the box.
We're boxing this lap.
Seems like we've got a handful of cars into the pits there, as it was Tsunoda again trying to look back to the inside. Up now into 5th place then, as I think, yeah, Verstappen and Hamilton have also pit, as well as Charles Leclerc. But yeah, we're just trying to keep Tsunoda at bay at the moment, but we are going to have to box at the end of this one because we are under a lot of pressure, and these tyres are not very fun anymore. Coming to the end then of lap 6, going to try and see if we can box in. Carlos Sainz just in front of us, think he's going to be pitting as well. Do not want to run into the back of the Spaniard. But we will try and get as close to him as we possibly can on the way into the pits there. Cars are going to steam past us, but it does seem like most people have gone on to a set of medium compound tyres here, so we're not on an alternate strategy to anyone, which often when we're doing quite well is reassuring.
Exit now.
And we've jumped Carlos Sainz in the pits there, as well as Bottas.
One more stop today. One stop left in our strategy.
I think they both picked up a little bit of front wing damage there, so we're up now into what, like net P7 of the Grand Prix there, jumping a Ferrari and a Mercedes in the pit lane. Yeah, they definitely both have had front wing damage. We've got to try and work our way past Mick Schumacher here as soon as possible. So I do not want to be stuck behind a Haas on old hard tyres there, but yeah, really happy with that then. Clearly the Williams pit crew of years gone by again. Remember when they used to be the team to beat in the pit stops in F1, but come on Mick. Oh, come on Mick, please, I beg. Right, we've got to try and get the run on Mick Schumacher now as we head through the old town. To the inside we go! Big old squeeze coming from Mick Schumacher, but I cannot afford to sit behind him for too long here. We lost 3 seconds stuck behind him in just half a lap to Valtteri Bottas, so that was not reassuring. And now Bottas might be able to get the DRS on him and fly past him back down towards turn 1. So thank you very much for that, young Mick Schumacher. How come he can never leave Haas on F1 at 2021? But no more cars into the box then, so I guess we've got to wait for all the medium runners to probably dive in onto a set of hards. Let's just keep our head down as Mazepin and Norris duke it out for P11.
Gap to teammate ahead is 11.3 seconds.
Safe to say the Williams Road to Glory has taught me a lot of things on F1 2021. You have to be happy with what you've got, and you've got to learn to pick your battles here, and I don't think a battle with Valtteri Bottas is probably going to be worth it this weekend. They're given another season, and we'll be duking it out with Mercedes for race victories, but yeah, I think Bottas might just fly back past me as we head in towards turn 1. Gaining. Actually, he's not going to. So it might be down in towards turn 3. Bottas can get the run as he sets new fastest lap of the Grand Prix. I think we surely deserve half of that bonus point, you know, for giving him that huge run back down towards turn 1. But fingers crossed now, you know, I don't want to lose myself time getting caught up with the Mercedes. Surely now he's going to be able to get the run. Surely, Bottas, just make it work. Go for the send. I don't want to battle you, mate. And yeah, we'll let him have that one and keep our head down.
Okay, we lost the position. Try to keep focus.
Bottas now trying to make a move on Nikita Mazepin as we head back down towards turn 1 there. Gets a little bit squeaky bum time between the pair of them there as Mazepin is going to lose the place. Still no more cars, though, into the boxes. Bottas now just going to sit a little bit defensive there. Clearly the Russian lives rent-free in the Finnish driver's head. But at turn 1, fingers crossed we can do to Mazepin what Bottas did to us just a lap ago. And that's make the move down in towards turn 3 there. To the inside we go. Oh, big old squeeze again. Mazepin, he certainly wants to battle for every position in this series, but we'll slot it down the inside, get it slowed down, and we can continue to look at the back of the Mercedes here. I'm hoping he can drag me along with the DRS for a few laps, but it's probably not going to happen. Now suddenly we've come across a huge gaggle of cars as we head around in the final couple of corners. Look at that, none of them getting a particularly good run there. Is anyone going to be able to try and make a move? Norris to the inside, Ocon to the outside there. Are they about to go 3 wide? No, Perez trying to come into the pit lane there. They are 3 wide. Well, a load of cars into the pits. They're still 3 wide there as Bottas thought about it on Esteban Ocon. Wow. Everyone just slowing down. And suddenly we're back into P6 then of this GP. So I'm not too sure how we've ended up here. Can we try and get a run on Esteban, though? That's the main one we want to try and overtake, because, of course, he's on hard tyres. He's going to look back round the outside of Lando Norris, though. It's all getting a little bit congested, and I got nowhere really to go in that situation that doesn't risk giving us damage. Bottas suddenly around the outside of the pair of them. We're now going to stick it up the inside of Lando Norris, and we will now move into P5 then. But what a move by Bottas!
Nice overtake.
P5 now for us. Fingers crossed P4 soon. Come on then, Esteban Ocon, let's try and get a run as we head through the old town once more on the hard tyres there. So not too sure what Esteban Ocon is doing, but does give me a very, very defensive block down in towards the final sector of the lap. Means we are going to get the DRS on him, but Bottas is just Harry Potter meme waving off into the distance here as we head through the final couple of turns. Let's just try and get the run on Esteban. Control electronics holding up pretty nicely at the moment. Those will have a look to the inside. Yeah, activate the DRS there. That should be a nice textbook move. Make sure we don't go over the pit lane entry line. Ocon's going to tuck in for some slipstream. And then immediately go defensive on Lando Norris. So, a lot of battles going on there as well. I think Lando tried to send it, and he has.
7.9 seconds.
8 seconds ahead of George, though, as Norris now back past Ocon, so it's all moving around. It feels like we've seen a lot happen so far in this Grand Prix, and only now are we crossing over the halfway stage. Lando Norris still very close behind us, so I think he's on the same strategy as me. There are Sainz now moves back past Esteban Ocon.
To the car ahead, they're edging away.
Yeah, not too sure we're going to be in a long-term battle with Lando here, but, you know, Sainz, only 3 seconds back. He's probably going to close in as well rather soon. But, of course, yeah, end of lap 16, we're going to box again. We might be able to get these tyres to, like, lap 19, and then go softs again to the end. As Perez, new fastest lap. I still have no idea where we are in the grand scheme of things. I think there's a lot of cars picking up front wing damage today, because Verstappen up the road, the gap is not going up to him. The gap is pretty much staying at about 10.8 at the moment, and Norris and Sainz aren't taking time out of me either. So I think a lot of people are just sort of skimming the wall, picking up a little bit of front wing damage there. It's not enough for the team to report on it, but it definitely is enough to sort of stagger their pace and give us a fighting chance, which is really, really good. I can't lie. Less than 13 laps to go, though, of this race as we're about to start lap 15. This is looking promising so far. The only way I know it's the fact that cars are picking up front wing damage rather than anything else is the fact that Bottas is still pulling away well over a second a lap on me. So yeah, it's not... It's just odd so far. So here we go then, end of lap 15. Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton back into the pit lane here, so we're going to be up into the podium places. And we might actually get a chance to lead this Grand Prix, depending on where Valtteri pits.
So push now. Gap to
Team want us in this one, I'm not going to.
Seconds.
I think we need to box end of lap 18, end of lap 19 if we can. Because I want to try and go softs to the end. 10 laps to go then. Are we going to see Bottas into the box? Are we going to get a chance to lead this Grand Prix? Yes, we are. Bottas into the pits. So as long as we hold on from Lando Norris. No, Lando's in as well. So we are extending this stint longer than anyone else. And we now lead the Azerbaijan Grand Prix here ahead of Hamilton. We've got to try and hang on to the end of the lap though to get the lap registered. Come on, we can try and hold on ahead of Hamilton as we round the final couple of corners. I just want to lead one lap here in Baku there. Activate the DRS. Oh no, sorry, the ERS. Even Hamilton's still going to fly past me though before we get back down towards turn 1. Is he? Oh no, look at that. We've actually got the legs on the Mercedes. Giovinazzi's out. We've got a safety car. What's going on?
Out. There appears to have been an issue with multiple stopped vehicles on the track. Check your MFD for a new strategy option.
Well, I wish I'd known that so we could have pit them. But, yeah, Giovinazzi out and a load of cars have boxed. What happened? Well, we can't see what happened to Giovinazzi there, but... yeah, very, very odd crash for the Italian. He's just in the wall on the exit. I don't know. How has he binned it there? Because I could understand if he'd lost the other wheel. As he looped it on throttle on the exit and while at the inside wall, he's taken too much curb. Not 100% sure how that one's happened, but it has brought out a safety car late on in the day, and this might save us or screw us. I don't quite know yet.
Okay, some information on Bottas. It looks like the problem is terminal. They're retiring the car.
And now Bottas has retired as well in the pits, so not too sure what's going on. Carnage late on here in Baku. But yeah, I don't think... this might actually leave us right up towards the front of the field there on fresh tyres, because everyone else is having to pit, and we got a delta.
Risk a penalty. Slow your pace immediately.
And I'm now wondering whether Hamilton and Verstappen won't want to pit, of course, to try and cover off from each other. If we could re-emerge, yeah, like P4 on a set of softs, who knows what's possible by the end of this one. We've got to try and keep the delta as close to 0 as we possibly can, so we don't get jumped by any cars that haven't boxed as we head out of the final corner. Just going to use a little bit of ERS there just to try and bring us towards that delta time. But yeah, now as we head into the pit lane, we pretty much can go flat out. Hamilton's not boxing, and neither is Verstappen. So where are we going to re-emerge then in this Grand Prix? Be careful that we don't get a pit lane speeding penalty. Is Stroll going to dive it in? No, the Canadian is not, so we're going to probably then be in P4 in this GP, as long as we come out of the box nice and quick, because of course, go! Of course, yeah, as soon as the leaders catch the safety car, the Delta disappears. And yeah, look at that, P4. P4 for us, P6 for George Russell. He's on hards though, we're on softs. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but a podium is certainly possible. Could we fight for the win? Right, we'll sit rep then. We're on fresher, softer tyres than everyone else around us. With just 5 laps to go of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. We restart this in P4. Hamilton, Verstappen and Stroll are the only cars ahead of us here. Championship leader Bottas is out of the Grand Prix. And let's just see what we can try and muster up late on in this race. Can we try and jump Stroll straight off the start? Looks like we might be able to. There is just a little bit of hesitation coming from the Canadian. And we do pick up an illegal overtake there, but we'll keep the nose on the inside. We let him back through. Hamilton's Spa 2008 style there, but I'm taking it. Straight past the Canadian off the restart there, hesitating way too much off the line. And Hamilton and Verstappen are going to try and romp off into the distance off this restart, but we're going to try and see. We're going to have to drain the battery and see if we can hang with them.
Fortunately, the marshals have managed to clear it up in time, and there are no plans for a safety car right now.
More chaos and contact, though, coming from the rear of the field. I think that might have been one of the Alpha Tauris right towards the back. I think that, yeah, might have been Pierre Gasly, who's had a horrible race out up until now. But, yeah, it just looks like Hamilton and Verstappen either able to get their tyres working a lot quicker than I am, or have just got that bit more pace still than us at the moment. But we're going to try and dig deep, even if we can just get a podium here. That would be brilliant for the team, but I'd love to try and get this thing in a position where we could win. Hamilton sets a new fast lap of the Grand Prix as he tries to pull away from Verstappen. We just got to try and hang within the DRS there, but now these tyres are up to temp. Fingers crossed they can start working for us. It's that horrible fine balance at the moment. With just 3 laps to go of this Grand Prix, I'm trying to use battery to stay close to these guys. And I'm trying to make sure we don't use too much of it, then I've got none to attack them with. Hamilton now, the gap down to 1.3. Verstappen, the gap down to 0.8 of a second. Is this going to be new fastest lap of the Grand Prix? No, or half a tenth away.
DRS is now online.
Not too worried about trying to get fastest lap though. There's the gap between the top 3, 1 second. As we're now going to start getting DRS.
Behind by a few seconds per lap. Keep this up.
Look at that Sonoda now, the next car behind us. Russell up into 5th place there, so clearly Stroll's got issues. But who is going to win? Hamilton, Verstappen, or myself? We are pushing these tyres so hard, but 2 laps to go of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. I think if we want any chance at this, we need Verstappen and Hamilton to start duking it out just a little bit more there. Of course, Verstappen will have the DRS, Hamilton will not. So the gap should be coming down there as we're going to try and gain on the pair of them back down towards turn 1. Is Verstappen going to be close enough? He's looking. This is what we like to see. Verstappen to the inside of Lewis Hamilton. 2 championship rivals going at it. Of course, the third man in that title dispute out of the Grand Prix there, but Verstappen couldn't make anything work. And now look at this. We're going to be able to get a run to the inside of Max Verstappen here with less than 2 laps to go of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. And we have, looks like we're going to pull off the move. Really, really late on the brakes. We keep it at the wall just, only just. But Verstappen says thank you very much and he'll have the place back. 1 more lap to go then here from the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and Hamilton has just built up that little pocket that he needs.
But officials aren't looking to push for a safety car right now. Just be careful.
Still more carnage going on further back down the order there, but Verstappen, he once again is going to have the DRS on Hamilton. We once again are going to have the DRS on Verstappen here, so the gaps are all still coming down as we start the final lap of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Can Hamilton hang on? Are Verstappen and I going to be able to get a run on the Mercedes? Only time will tell. We've got to try and stick close through this first and middle sector here. And then, of course, it's all about trying to get the slipstream down the back straight. We've got a little bit left in the batteries. Look at that, Hamilton just losing ground everywhere at the moment. Big send into T3. I'm so worried about bottling it on this final lap of the Grand Prix. We've had so many Baku bottles in the past, but of course, yeah, we had a 3-way scrap with Lando and Sergio in the My Team career mode here. We were 3 wide across the line. Not quite convinced we're going to see the same theatrics, though, in this Azerbaijan Grand Prix there. Hamilton, it might be that he's just about done enough here as we try and stick close to Max Verstappen there, using all that's left. Heading down in towards the final couple of corners, though. It's not looking like we're going to have enough, though, to try and take home the win in this Azerbaijan Grand Prix. The tyres just giving up. We took a big gamble today. It certainly has paid off. Hamilton looks like he's going to come through to win the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. They're ahead of Max Verstappen, but we're going to come through our first trophy in the Williams Road to Glory. P3 with Russell in 5th. Love that.
Great drive, great drive. We're really happy with that performance.
Here we are then, it's victory in Azerbaijan. Great work from the whole team here at the track and back at the factory as well. And some pretty handy driving for good measure. So Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it. After an incredible performance, Lewis Hamilton secures the top spot in the Drivers' Championship. Some amazing talent out on the track today, but Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
But there's no question in my mind, it has to go to George Russell. What a performance. He's got every right to be proud of what he accomplished out there today.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. It was a tough race for our championship leaders who lose ground at the top of the table. Another team that excelled today was Williams, who make further progress up the table. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time? Be sure to join us again as we continue to bring you the latest excitement in Formula One.
Well, there we are then, guys, the end of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and Lewis Hamilton stands once more on the top step of the podium there, just 1/10 clear of Verstappen when all is said and done. We tried our hardest, but it was only good enough for P3 at the end of the day. That I would have loved to bring Williams home a race victory, but it's all about the story arc in the Williams Road to Glory there. Tsunoda, P4 again in this series there. Has just missed out on the podium now in 2 of the last 3 Grand Prix for him and Alpine ahead of George Russell. Sergio Perez in 6th ahead of Lando, Sainz, Ocon and Charles Leclerc there, rounding out the top 10. And then you've got Ricciardo and Kimi Raikkonen there ahead of Sebastian Vettel. Mick Schumacher for Aston Martin. That's a very good job done by them to hopefully try and bring themselves further up the order. Bottas and Gio, though, the only 2 cars not to make it to the end. And Gasly on a 4-stop. He was not Pierre's day in this series. Does mean now championship-wise, Hamilton 14 points clear of Valtteri Bottas, who's still just 2 ahead of Max Verstappen there. Perez solidifying himself in P4 ahead of Ricciardo and Lando Norris. Gasly down to 7th, still ahead of Kimi, and then Tsunoda and Leclerc rounding out the top 10 there. We're now ahead of Carlos Sainz, with George Russell just 10 points behind us in P13. They're ahead of Ocon and Sebastian Vettel there. And yeah, Mick Schumacher jumps Giovinazzi, which does mean Haas now are above Alfa Romeo on countback. We're now tied with Alpine and just 10 points behind Ferrari at this stage of the season. We're piling on the upgrades. We're making good momentum at this stage of the career there. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, do make sure you leave a like and get yourself subscribed. Fingers crossed I'm not going to sound like I'm dying in the next episode of the Williams Road to Glory. But yeah, we'll be back very soon for round 7 of the year. I think we head to Canada, but don't hold me to that. We'll see you guys very soon with more F1 2021 content. None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel members, so a massive thank you to all of the names you see on your screens currently for helping support the channel. You can join them by clicking the join button down below, and yeah, thank you once again to everyone that continues all the insane support on my work.